Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of World Talks here on TVP World, where every word matters. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and please join me and my guest on this next interview. Now, let's take a closer look at Poland's political landscape, both domestically and internationally. At home, a visa scandal has raised concern about corruption and oversight by the former government, while sparking a debate over immigration issues. On the international front, Polish President Andrzej Duda is calling on Polish Americans to vote in the upcoming U.S. presidential election, emphasizing its significance for Poland's security and global relations. Meanwhile, Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski has reiterated the country's commitment to a non-partisan stance. Joining us today on TVP World to discuss these developments is Małgorzata Kaczorowska, political scientist from the University of Warsaw. Hello and welcome to TVP World.
Hello and good evening.
Let's unpack this whole visa scandal thing. What are the most alarming findings regarding the former government's visa scandal, and how has that impacted Polish political landscape?
Oh yes, today a report which was issued by the Supreme Chamber of Control was the information were expected, but the number of those who were involved in this scandal is really impressive and alarming. As far as we know, during the recent years, starting with, according to the report, of course, 2015, so the Witold Sikorski, who was at the top, who was a Minister for Foreign Affairs in Poland, starting with his office at this period of time, the Minister of Foreign Affairs issued more than 366,000 of visas for citizens of African countries, Muslim countries. And these visas were issued without due control, checking, and enough information about those who has been given these visas, the special recommendation. That was the and what we know right now, that whole the procedure was taken under the pressure from the officials, from of course, these are the accusations still not finally checked, but according to the report, of course, which I'm referring to, which is enormous. There is a vast number of information, over 300 of pages, on which we have these alarming information. What is also important, that you had that in the material before our talk, that the most influential, very important politicians from the top of the political elites were involved to some extent in this scandal. Ministers for Foreign Affairs are one of the most important politicians. And what is the other problem, in my opinion, very problematic, of course, from my academic side, is that this report stresses that due to the chaos of the IT system, it is impossible to verify whether, for example, 17,000 of student visas were issued in accordance with the procedures. What's the effect? The effect we meet today, as an aftermath of this affair, we have right now, right here in Poland, some problems that many our students from abroad who'd like to, and who have applied for the studies in Poland, have problems with obtaining the visas. This has been reported to us by our students, for example, from my faculty university, who are having problems getting to Poland to study. Very, very problematic. And of course, what was also mentioned in the material, in your material, the TV World television before, that it undermines trust in Polish whole structure, whole official system, and that Polish reputation is right now, quite weakened by the scandal. We as Poland, we are part of the Schengen zone, so that means that these doors are open for anyone who wants to get into Europe. In fact, that means the Schengen zone through the Poland without no control. There is no. I don't want to say that there should be any blockade for entering for anyone, but checking who is entering, it's needed right now in our times when we are facing, for example, terrorism and all such threats internationally. And of course, other effect, in my opinion, what makes me very concerned about this problem is that there were great contradiction to what the Law and Justice Party has been talking about for years of its role. It scared Poles with the deluge wave of illegal immigrants who were supposed to flee to Poland. It was negative towards the Law and Justice was negative towards the fleeing refugees from the Middle East, using pushbacks, constructing a wall on Polish-Belarusian border. And on the other hand, we get that information. Of course, we know about that scandal since 1 year, but today we get to our hands report produced by the official Polish national agenda, in which we get such information that a huge number of people, in a way that is suspicious, and now there were no control of entering of so many thousands of people illegally, with using force, pressure on the Polish consulates by Law and Justice, who were threatening Poles by the floods of immigrants.
What do you think is the incentive behind letting all these people in? Because
problem of understanding.
we're talking about like almost close to a third of a million, if not more than that, in just a short span of a few years. What's the incentive for the former ruling government in letting all these people in? Is it just a corruption scandal? Is it for money? Are there anything else behind that?
We are expecting the effects of the whole procedure which has been starting after the government of Law and Justice has finished under the new government. New parliament has called the special commission to resolve that problem, and of course it will be the matter of concern of judges. So right now we have to wait for the final result of all these procedures. As far as we know, the scandal was a fact. Many people got the positive acceptance to enter to Poland. And what is scary, we do not exactly know who actually is among them. Right, that is the problematic. That makes all the consequences which you have mentioned in your material and which I also underlined right now.
Right. Do you think that's going to impact Poland's relation with the rest of the European Union, especially these Schengen countries going forward, where you see Germany, for example, take measures such as closing off their border, causing a little bit of backlash with its neighbors? I can imagine something immigration-related happening in Poland also causing a little bit of rift.
That also, of course, you have mentioned the first result. Some of the countries have the huge concerns who is going through Poland. Of course, it is stopped right now, and all those consequences, the more controls, the controls, returning controls on the borders, that is the direct result. And also the direct result is all those problems which I've mentioned, referring to for example, students who has who have done nothing wrong, but they have, because of the whole scandal, because it was stopped, and there is the huge mess, and right now we have to rethink as a country, all the procedures and the procedure system of applying and agreeing for entering Poland, applying for visas. The whole system may cause some problems, and it causes right now, because we had some information that our students have such problems.
All right, and shifting gears a little bit to a more foreign front, because we saw recently Polish President Duda is in United States as well as the foreign minister. Now, Duda's urging Polish Americans to vote in U.S. presidential elections. Can you tell us why this demographic is so important for U.S. elections, and why is it so important for Polish foreign policy interests?
Of course, being close and in good relations with the all countries is important, especially the US, who is right now facing or waiting for a result of the next presidential elections, especially during this important and complicated time. It's very important how to diplomatically get in touch, get in a good contact with both sides. That was expressed by Polish Foreign Minister Mr. Sikorski, who just stressed that he wants to encourage Polish diaspora in the US, who is quite influential, I must say, in the US during the elections, in politics as well. Very united, and I think it's important to get the contact with that diaspora, and Sikorski encouraged the diaspora to support to be in favor, to support those, or vote for those candidates who are NATO supporting the candidates. Duda also wanted to show their connection with the diaspora. Both politicians visited the US aside to the sideness of the opening 79th session of the UN General Assembly, and addresses the Security Council debate, who was devoted to security and peace as issues, which are very important right now for Europe and for the whole world, of course, but for Europe, for Poland especially, in terms of the war in the Ukraine. For Sikorski, what is also important was also an important meeting with two meetings, actually. First meeting with the U.S. National Security Advisor Jack Sullivan at the White House on Friday, with whom Mr. Sikorski covered key issues as it was announced in official reports of the alliance and the war at the Ukraine. No more details were published. And the second thing was a meeting and conversation with the China's head of the diplomacy, which should be also mentioned, I think. So in terms of course, trying to redefine and define for future and encourage China to rethink and their relations with Russia, especially right now during the war in the Ukraine.
Right, it's definitely a very, very critical moment going forward. Thank you so much for your input and insight. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being with us on TVP.
Thank you very much for the conversation. Thank you. Good night.
Take care.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this edition of World Talks. But for more news, update, and commentary, please stay tuned to TVP World.